Good morning, everyone. Please post your doubts. Let's begin with solving your doubts. Okay, good morning, everyone. I have one doubt only, which says in class of PP, it is given that it should be similar in nature and use in the operation of the enterprise. So, does it mean that the enterprise So does it mean here by enterprise that used by one enterprise only? Spruva, I did not understand your question. If you can please explain this properly. And in this context, and in which context are you speaking? Are you talking about similar class of PP? What is that you're talking about? Are you talking about similar class of PP? Please explain this properly. Others, if you have doubt, please ask me. Let us be clear with whatever we have done. And then we proceed with the last part of accounting standard 10. I think today we should be in a position to finish off accounting standard 10. So quickly post your doubts. Right, Spruha, kindly post your doubt clearly so that it can be understood, and of course I'll solve it for you. Till that, I think there are no more doubts, so let's proceed with accounting standard 10. Last time we did revaluation of property, plant and equipment, where we also had 4 questions, and you all solved those 4 questions for us. Okay, I have the clarity on the question. It says if the company has more than one business, so PP must be used in one business only to be one class of PP. Yes, it should be used in one business only. Only then it will be one class of PP. Right? I hope, Spruha, that is clear to you. Okay, perfect. We did this revaluation and we did these 4 questions as well. Right now, before we proceed, uh, I'll quickly revise this part with you. Revaluation, treatment of revaluation gain or loss. If revaluation is happening for the first time and it is upward revaluation, you will always credit to revaluation surplus account. If you are revaluing for the first time and it is downward revaluation, you will debit the profit and loss account. In case of subsequent revaluation, you will always look at the earlier revaluation. If the earlier revaluation was upward and now also revaluation is upward, you will follow the same treatment, credit to revaluation surplus account. If earlier the revaluation was upward and now the revaluation is downward, then you will first adjust against revaluation surplus and balance you will debit to the profit and loss account. On the other hand, if your earlier revaluation was downward and now also it is downward, you will debit the profit and loss account. If your earlier revaluation is downward and now it is upward, you will first credit to profit and loss account to the extent of earlier debit, and the balance will straight away go to the revaluation surplus account. Right, this is what we did, and we did 4 more questions so that you can clearly understand the concept. Right, now come to the next part, which is uses of revaluation surplus. Now, revaluation surplus is also a kind of reserve. How will this reserve be used? Say, for example, tomorrow there is downward revaluation. So whenever there is downward revaluation, the downward revaluation that you will do, you can adjust from the revaluation surplus. That is one important thing, which we already did in the earlier questions. कि जब भी पहले हमने revaluation upward किया, तो revaluation surplus में credit किया. लेकिन जब downward revaluation हुआ, तो सबसे पहले adjustment कहाँ से किया? Revaluation surplus. That is one use of revaluation surplus, that you can use this amount to adjust the downward revaluation of any property, plant and equipment. Second important point, please understand carefully, is whenever you sell an asset. So say for example, you upward revalued an asset. So there was upward revaluation, you did the upward revaluation. Where did the upward revaluation amount go? Credit side of revaluation surplus account. Now, after making upward revaluation, say for example, you sell off the asset or you write off the asset. I'm using 2 words. Either you sell off the asset or you write off the asset. Then, and that write off or selling the asset is at a loss. I'm again repeating, that write off or that selling of the asset, if it is at a loss, this loss straight away cannot go to the profit and loss account. This loss will first be adjusted against the revaluation surplus. Right? अब मैं जो concept समझा रहा हूँ उस पे ध्यान देना. Please pay attention. You will understand the entire concept thoroughly. Say for example, let us take a very simple example. Say for example, the value of my asset is 1000. I did upward revaluation and the new value is 1800. Quickly tell me on the chat box, where will 800 go? Everyone quickly on the chat box, where will 800 go? Revaluation surplus, okay. It will go to revaluation surplus. Okay. Now suppose when you sell this asset of 1800, you get only 400. You get only 400. After you're making an upward revaluation, now you get only 400 and you sell at 400. Tell me on the chat box, gain or loss? If gain, how much? If loss, how much? Okay, everyone agrees loss of 1400. Now, whenever you have a loss of 1400, you will first tell yourself कि सही वैल्यू तो 1000 थी, मैंने ही 1000 से 1800 पे बढ़ाई, तो 800 कहाँ चला गया? रिवैल्यूएशन सरप्लस. अब जब मैं बेच रहा हूं तो लॉस कितना हो रहा है? 1400. वो 1400 में से सबसे पहले 800 आप कहां से एडजस्ट करोगे? यू विल एडजस्ट दैट फ्रॉम revaluation surplus. And still if you are falling short, 600 will be adjusted from the profit and loss account. Are you getting it? This is known as use of revaluation surplus account. Are you getting it? Right, see, I'm reading this for you. If any asset is revalued upwards in the past and later on it is sold or derecognized at a loss, such loss will first be adjusted against attributable revaluation surplus. Very important. Such loss will first be adjusted against attributable revaluation surplus. For example, cost of the asset is 100, accumulated depreciation is 30. Quickly on the chat box, what's your net value? Accumulated depreciation दिया हुआ है 30. What is your net value? Quickly on the chat box. It will be 100 minus 30, which comes to 70. Okay. Look at the next one. Revalued amount is 90. Revalued amount is 9090. Revalued amount is 9090. Tell me, upward or downward revaluation? Upward or downward revaluation? Upward. Upward by how much? Upward or downward? Upward. Okay. Where will this upward revaluation go? Where will this upward revaluation go? It will be credited to revaluation surplus account. Okay, so this upward revaluation will go to the revaluation surplus account. Okay, let's look at the solution. Cost of the asset is 100, accumulated depreciation is 30, revalued amount is 90. So you have 100 minus 30, 70, 70 revalued amount is 90. Your revaluation gain is how much? 20, which goes to credit of revaluation surplus. Okay. Now tell me, what's the, after revaluation, what is the value of your PP? Revaluation के बाद अब आपकी revalued amount कितनी है property plant and equipment की? What is the revalued amount of your property plant and equipment? 90. Okay, excellent. Now this value of 90 is sold at 70. Look at this. If the asset is sold for 65, provide accounting treatment. Tell me, if the selling price is 65, do you have gain or loss? If gain, how much? If loss, how much? Do you have gain or loss? If gain, then how much? If loss, then how much? Okay, everyone agrees, loss of 25. From where will you adjust this loss of 25? From where will you adjust this loss of 25? Of course, 25 will be adjusted from revaluation surplus account. 20 will be adjusted, I'm sorry, 20 will be adjusted from revaluation surplus, 5 will be adjusted from the profit and loss account. Okay, can someone help me out with the journal entry? Let us pass a journal entry. In fact, let's not do it on the chat box. Can Dhara, can you help me out with the journal entry? Dhara, can you please help us out with this journal entry? Okay, here you go.
Hello.
Yes, Dhara, go ahead. Journal entry for sale of the asset, also considered 20 rupees of revaluation surplus adjustment.
Okay. So first, the asset is sold. So bank account debit
You have bank account debit.
rupees 65.
Okay, 65.
Then revaluation surplus account will be debited rupees 20.
Rupees 20. Okay.
Then P&L account debit rupees 5.
P&L account will be debited by rupees 5.
To PP account 90. To asset or
To asset account
90.
will be 90. Okay, so this is the amount of money that you received. So money comes in, bank account will be debited. Bank is the receiver. Revaluation surplus, you already have some balance. You will first adjust the loss from that. 5 rupees, because the balance falls short, you will take it from the profit and loss account, and the asset goes out. So asset account will be credited by 90. Am I right?
Yes.
Dhara, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dhara.
Thank you.
Right, so a journal entry will be bank account debit, revaluation surplus account debit, P&L account debit to asset account. That is exactly what is explained over here. Bank account debit, revaluation surplus account debit, profit and loss account debit to asset account. Right, important point. You can have a question based on this. So make sure you're thoroughly clear with this. Right, are you all clear with this? Quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you all clear with this? Because if you're clear with this, only then you will be able to understand the next concept that we are going to do. So quickly, everyone, Akshay, Aman, Anjali, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhairya, Dhara, Digesh, Harshit, Het, Ishika, Ishita, Kajal, Khushi, Manav, Mukaddisha, Nidhi, Nikita, Pawan, Pushti, Raj, Rizwan, Rohan, Samira, Samitha, Shifa, Shreyas, Simran, Om, Spruha, Shrushti, Tulsi, and Yash. Are you all clear with this? Okay, perfect. If you all are clear with this, let's go to the next part. Let me make another question for you. Suppose the value of the asset is 100. You revalue upward by 90. So your new value becomes 190. So this is value of asset, upward revaluation, revalued amount. Can you tell me where will this 90 go? On the chat box. Where will this 90 go? It will go to the credit of revaluation surplus. Okay. Now say for example, this asset is sold for 150. When this asset is sold for 150, quickly on the chat box, gain or loss. If gain, how much? If loss, how much? Everyone agrees loss of 40. So you have loss of 40. Okay. My next question to you all, please pay attention. You will easily understand this concept if you reply properly and understand the question. From where will we adjust this loss? You will debit revaluation surplus account. Okay, so we will debit revaluation surplus account. Let's also pass. Okay, first let me understand your concept on this. You will adjust this from the revaluation surplus account. Okay. Simple question I am asking you. After adjusting from revaluation surplus account, do you still have balance in the revaluation surplus account? Yes or no? After adjusting from revaluation surplus, you still have balance in the revaluation surplus. How much balance do you have in the revaluation surplus account? You have a balance of 50 rupees. So balance in balance of 50 in revaluation surplus account. Okay. Now remember this and let us go to another example that I want to give. As of now, just remember 100 rupees value था, upward revaluation 90 हुआ, revalued figure 190 थी, वही 190 की asset हमने 150 में बेची, 40 rupees का loss हुआ, 40 rupees I adjusted from revaluation surplus account, and after adjusting, the asset is sold, but the balance in the revaluation surplus is how much? 50 rupees. Now please pay attention to the example that I am giving you. Please pay full attention to that. I live in an area which is a low-lying area. Low-lying area means जो लैंड से थोड़ा नीचे वो एरिया है और जब भी बारिश होती है there is a lot of water logging over there. Right? Please understand this concept carefully. I live in an area which is a low-lying area. जब भी बारिश होगी बहुत ज़्यादा चांस है कि मेरे घर में पानी आ जाएगा. तो हर बार क्या होता है? When it is monsoon, there is a risk that I may have to shift from one place to another because of water. So I earn 5,000 rupees. I straight away save 1,500 every month when monsoon begins. कि हमारे पास पैसे savings होना चाहिए. कभी एक घर से दूसरे घर shift होना पड़ेगा तो पैसे की जरूरत पड़ेगी. I save it for 3 months. So can someone tell me what will be my total savings of 3 months? Can someone tell me what will be my total savings of 3 months? 4,500? Okay. Please understand carefully. I have two drawers in my house. Drawer number 1, drawer number 2. I receive 5,000 rupees. I keep 3,500 in drawer number 1. I keep 1,500 in drawer number 2. I explain myself कि 1500 तभी यूज करने का जब ये घर को शिफ्ट करना पड़े, अर्जेंट रिक्वायरमेंट्स के लिए. लेकिन 3500 आप रूटीन के लिए यूज कर सकते हो. आपको ग्रोसरी खरीदना है, कोई भी बेसिक खरीदना हो, तो आप ये 3500 यूज करेंगे. और जब एसेंशियल की बात आई, जब आपको घर शिफ्ट करना पड़ा, तब हम 1500 यूज करेंगे. I saved thrice 4500 over here, and of course here I kept having 3500. The entire monsoon season went away. There was no rains, so I was absolutely safe. Tell me, if monsoon has gone, there are no rains and there are no further chances of rains, do I still need this 4500 as a reserve for the current year? Yes or no? Do I still need this for my current year? No. When I do not need it for my current year, what I will ideally do is I will shift this 4500 from drawer 2 to drawer 1, so that this amount can be used for other general purposes and other routine purposes, for example buying grocery, buying food, etc. So I will shift 4500 from drawer 1 to drawer 2. I'm sorry, from drawer 2 to drawer 1 I will shift 4500, because, please understand my statement, because the reason for which I had kept a reserve, that reason is no longer in existence. That reason for which I was saving 4500, that reason is no longer in existence. So I can shift 4500 from drawer 2 to drawer 1. Are you understanding? Similarly, there was one asset because of which I had kept 90 rupees as spare. कोई एक asset थी जिसकी वजह से मैंने 90 rupees revaluation surplus में रखे थे. उसमें से 40 यूज हुए और asset बिक गई. आज भी मेरे पास revaluation surplus में 50 rupees जरूर पड़े, लेकिन जिस asset की वजह से ये 50 rupees पड़े, वो asset अब exist ही नहीं करती है. क्योंकि वो असेट एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती, जिसकी वजह से मैंने ये 50 रुपीज रखे हैं, ये 50 रुपीज का इस रिजर्व में अब कोई काम नहीं है, क्योंकि वो असेट ही नहीं बची जिसके लिए रिजर्व यूज होने वाला है. असेट होती तो रिजर्व यूज होता, असेट तो है ही नहीं, तो रिजर्व किस चीज के लिए यूज होगा? देन दैट रिजर्व विल नॉट बी इन एनी काइंड ऑफ यूज. So understand this conceptually. When this 50 rupees is left without any reason or without any asset in existence, we will transfer this 50 rupees to general reserve, ताकि ये भी दूसरे routine expenses में काम आ सके. Which means whenever the asset is sold off or written off and there is still balance in the revaluation surplus account, that balance will be closed and transferred to general reserve account. Are you getting it? That will be closed and transferred to the general reserve account. Are you getting it? Are you all conceptually clear with this? Quickly on the chat box, yes or no? Are you all conceptually clear with this? Yes or no? No, Dhara, you cannot transfer it to any other assets revaluation account, because that asset will have its own built up revaluation account. So you cannot transfer from one asset to the other. Are you all clear with this concept? Yes or no? Okay, if you all are clear, let's understand what is given over here. It says, if the asset which is revalued upwards in the past is sold and there remains a balance in the revaluation surplus, such balance is treated as a free reserve. Underline, it is treated as a free reserve. Underline that. You will treat this balance as a free reserve, and will be transferred to the general reserve account. And it will be transferred where? To the general reserve account. In the above case, if the asset is sold for 80, let's see the accounting treatment. Now, this is exactly similar to the example that I have given you. And if you have understood this, solving this will be very easy for you. Let's understand it. My revalued figure is 90 and my sale value is 80. So what's my loss? My loss is 10 rupees. 10 rupees is what I'm going to adjust from the revaluation surplus. Okay, if I take the previous example, my revalued figure was 90. And how much did I transfer in the revaluation surplus? 20 rupees. So first let me put that. My balance in the revaluation surplus is 20 and my loss on sale is 10. Chalo, quickly everyone on the chat box. Where will I adjust this 10 rupees ka loss? From where will I adjust this loss of 10 rupees? From where will I adjust this loss of 10 rupees? First, revaluation surplus. Okay, after adjusting the loss of 10 rupees, do I still have balance in the revaluation surplus? Yes or no? Yes, how much? 10 rupees. So 10 rupees. Tell me, is the asset existing for which this reserve was created? क्या वो asset exist कर रही है जिसके लिए आपने ये reserve बनाया था? नहीं. So where, how should we transfer this? Where should we transfer this 10 rupees? We will transfer to general reserve account. So we will transfer this to the general reserve account. Okay, see what they have given. You have loss on sale is 10. So your sale entry will be bank is the receiver, bank account debit 80. Revaluation surplus account is 10 to asset account 90. So bank account debit, revaluation surplus account debit to asset account. The remaining balance of 10 in the revaluation surplus will be closed and transferred to the general reserve account. So it is revaluation surplus account debit to the general reserve account. Right, so this will be a journal entry. Revaluation surplus, which is having a credit balance, which will be closed and transferred, so that we will debit, and this will be closed and transferred to the general reserve account. So you will credit the general reserve account. Right, I hope you all are absolutely clear with this. Perfect. Let's go to the next part, which says property, plant and equipment retired from business. Right, let's understand this. Retired from business. Now, before we understand the technical concept, I want to ask you one question. The question is, what is the meaning of retired? And I'm giving you two options. You select one. Does retirement means that the person is finished or died? Or retired means person is living, person is there, but it is he or she is not active. So does it mean dead or not active? What does retirement mean? Dead or not active? Of course, it means not active, which means there is a difference between asset retired from active use and asset written off. वो दोनों अलग चीज है, एक चीज नहीं है. One that is retired from active use means हमारे books में भी है, हमारी organization में भी पड़ी है, बस हम use नहीं करते. Are you getting it? हमने फेंका नहीं है, लेकिन हम use नहीं कर रहे. However, written off means हम use भी नहीं कर रहे और हमारे business में भी नहीं, हमने book से भी write off कर दिया, asset भी फेंक दिया, बेच दिया, scrap कर दिया. That is the meaning of written off. So there is a difference between writing off and retired. Retired means हमारे पास ये asset अभी कोई काम की नहीं है, क्योंकि हम अभी इसको use नहीं कर रहे, लेकिन हमारे business में भी है, हमारे books of accounts में भी है. When you have such a property, plant and equipment which is there in your books but you are not using it, it is retired. अभी वो asset को हम use नहीं कर रहे, हम wait कर रहे हैं कि अच्छा value मिलेगा तब बेच देंगे. We are holding it for disposing, for selling it, but we are waiting कि थोड़ा अच्छा value मिलेगा तब बेचेंगे, आज नहीं बेचना. Which means this property, plant and equipment is retired from business and it is held for selling, held for disposal. The question is, how will you value this kind of a property, plant and equipment? So the answer is that this kind of a property, plant and equipment will be valued at lower of, either the carrying amount मतलब वो वैल्यू जिस पे वो बुक्स में ऑलरेडी रिकॉर्डेड है, और वी विल टेक द नेट रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू विच एवर इज लो. या तो हम कैरिंग अमाउंट लेंगे या एनआरवी, इन दोनों में से वी विल पिक विच एवर इज लोअर. So you will have carrying amount or net realizable value, whichever is lower. So we will take lower of the two, carrying amount or net realizable value. Are you getting it? We will take carrying amount or NRV, whichever is lower. Right? See what they have explained over here. A property, plant and equipment is no longer used in business and held for disposal should be reported at lower of carrying amount, should be reported at lower of carrying amount or net realizable value. So we will take carrying amount or NRV, whichever is lower. Any write down should be debited to the profit and loss account. So whenever you will write down from the carrying amount to the net realizable value, the difference will directly be debited to the profit and loss account. Are you getting it? Are you all clear with this? Quickly on the chat box, yes or no. Are you clear with this? Everyone on the chat box, quickly, are you clear with this? Are you clear with whatever we have done? Akshay, Aman, Anjali, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhairya, Dhara, Digesh, Harshit, Het, Ishika, Ishita, Kajal, Khushi, Manav, Mukaddisha, Nidhi, Nikita, Pawan, Pushti, Raj, Rizwan, Rohan, Samira, Samita, Shifa, Shreyas, Simran, Spruha, Om, Shrushti, Tulsi, Yash. Are you all clear with this? Are you conceptually absolutely clear with whatever we have done? Okay. Let's do one question then. May 2017 mock test paper question. आपके May 2017 के mock test paper में एक question पूछा था. Let's solve this question. It says calculate cost of the following asset as per the relevant AS. Your material cost is 16 lakhs. Your direct expenses is 3 lakhs. Your total direct labor is 6 lakhs. But 1/15th, this is 1/15th. Only 1/15th is attributable to construction of this asset. Total office and admin cost is 9 lakhs. Only 4% is attributable to this project. And the depreciation on asset used to construct this asset is 15,000. Last point ध्यान से समझिए. वो ऐसा बोल रहे हैं कि आप एक पीपीई बनाते हो, एक पीपीई को यूज करने के लिए दूसरा असेट या दूसरा प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट हम यूज कर रहे हैं. ध्यान से समझना, एक प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट को बनाने के लिए एक मशीन यूज कर रहे हैं. वो मशीन भी हमारी पीपीई है, बिल्कुल है. तो ये मशीन जो हम यूज कर रहे हैं वो डेप्रिशिएट हुई क्योंकि वो ये असेट को बनाने में यूज हुई. तो इस असेट का डेप्रिसिएशन उस हद तक जो इस असेट को बनाने में काम आ रहा है, दैट विल आल्सो बी एडेड टू the cost of the PPE because it is an expense directly attributable to bringing the PPE to its present location and condition. इसलिए मान लो असेट A है जिसका कॉस्ट निकालना है. असेट A को बनाने के लिए असेट B यूज हो रहा है, तो असेट B का कुछ हिस्सा डेप्रिशिएट होगा क्योंकि असेट A बन रहा है. तो असेट B का उस हिस्से का डेप्रिसिएशन विल बी एडेड टू द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट ऑफ असेट A. Are you getting it? We will be adding that to the cost of the PPE of asset A. Right? Let's solve this question. You have a practice question, which is a mock test paper question. So put your first statement. as per accounting standard 10, property, plant and equipment. This is your practice question and your mock test paper question. Your first statement will be, as per accounting standard 10, property, plant and equipment, calculation of cost of PPE. We will first take the material cost, 16 lakhs. You will then take the direct expenses, 3 lakhs. You will then take attributable direct labor, you have 6 lakhs divided by 15, you get 40,000. Attributable office and admin cost, your attributable admin cost will be 4%. 9 lakh into 4%, 36,000. Depreciation on asset used to construct this asset, your depreciation is 15,000. Let's finally calculate cost of PPE, 1,60,000 plus, 16 lakhs plus 3 lakhs plus 40,000 plus 36,000 and 15,000. You get 19 lakh 91,000. Let's prepare the notes. 1, material cost, direct labor and depreciation of an asset used to construct this asset will be added to the cost of PPE. Second, direct labor and admin cost will be added only to the extent attributable to the property, plant and equipment. Right, you get 19 lakh 91,000. If you're clear with this, please take this down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. If you have any doubts in this question, please ask me. If you're clear with this, take it down. Once you're done, please put done on the chat box. Take it down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. And after this, we go to a new concept of depreciation. So over here, the concept of property, plant and equipment is over. That part is over. Now, next part that we will study, if you can look at this, this is the question that we did. Now, the next part is depreciation requirements of AS-10. So that is the new part that we have to do. We have now finished the entire first part of property, plant and equipment. Right. So what I recommend is take down this question and take a 10 minutes break. Right now it is 9 o'clock. I will see you back at 9:10. Take a 10 minutes break and then we continue with the last part, which is depreciation requirements of accounting standard 10. So quickly take this down. Take a 10 minutes break. I'll now see you after 10 minutes at 9:10. Thank you. Okay, I hope you all are absolutely clear with the entire first section of accounting standard 10 pertaining to PP. Because now what we will go next to is the depreciation part of this accounting standard, which which completely explains to you about depreciation accounting. Come to this page, depreciation requirements of AS-10. Let's conceptually understand each and every part of this accounting standard, and then we will have a look at the practical questions. It says depreciation requirements of AS-10. What is the meaning of depreciable amount? 11th standard में आपने पढ़ा था. Depreciable amount is the cost of any asset less its residual value. So say for example, the cost of my asset is 1000 and the residual value is 100. तो SLM में आप क्या करते हो? 1000 minus 100 divide by useful life, say for example is 10 years. So you'll divide it by 10 years. Now this that you deduct, the meaning of this is कि 1000 में से तो 100 रुपए रिकवर हो जाएंगे. डेप्रिशिएट कितने होने वाले हैं? 900. इसलिए आप 900 को 10 से डिवाइड करते हो. So your depreciation per annum comes to 90 rupees. So this 1000 is nothing but your cost and 100 is nothing but your residual value. When you deduct 1000 minus 100, what you will get is the depreciable value. So look at this. Depreciable amount is the cost of any asset less its residual value. Meaning of depreciation. Depreciation is a systematic allocation of depreciable amount over an asset over its useful life. This is the basic definition of depreciation. What are the methods of depreciation? Very important. Please understand. AS-10 will never tell you which method of depreciation to use. So you can follow SLM, you can follow WDV, or you can follow any other method which will reflect the consumption pattern of the property, plant and equipment. वो पैटर्न जिस बेसिस पे प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट यूज होने वाला है, that pattern is to be taken care of when you calculate the depreciation. Right, so again, method of depreciation, accounting standard 10 does not specify a particular method of depreciation. Management can follow SLM or WDV or any other systematic allocation which reflects the consumption pattern of the property, plant and equipment. Are you getting it? This is your method of depreciation. Come to the third point. Again, a very interesting point. It says, how will you calculate the useful life of PP? So there is an amendment in calculating the useful life of PP. Very important, very interesting. Let's understand this entire concept of useful life of PP. It says, as per accounting standard 10, useful life of property, plant and equipment is considered component wise. Please underline this word, component wise. Please underline component wise. Economic life of each major component is used to depreciate that component, and hence this approach is known as the component approach. Okay, I'll explain this to you in detail. Say for example, you have land and building. You have what? Land and building. Till today you had the total value of land and building 18 lakhs. This was the old method. हम सिर्फ एक land and building पूरा property, plant and equipment लेते थे और पूरे 18 lakhs पे हम depreciate calculate करते. Accounting standard 10 says that this is really not the correct way to do it. The correct method is that you break the entire property, plant and equipment. You break that property, plant and equipment into various small components. and find those components useful life. After finding the useful life of the component, you calculate depreciation component wise. तो हर एक depreciation का component wise calculation करना है हमको, क्योंकि हर एक का calculation हमको component wise करना है. ध्यान देना, क्योंकि हर एक का कैलकुलेशन हमें कंपोनेंट वाइज करना है. इस पूरे अप्रोच का नाम क्या है? कंपोनेंट अप्रोच. आर यू गेटिंग इट? दिस एंटायर कंपोनेंट इज नोन एज द कंपोनेंट अप्रोच. नाउ हाउ विल यू डिवाइड इट कंपोनेंट वाइज? प्लीज पे अटेंशन टू दैट. You will divide the land and building this way. So you have land, you have roof, you have lift, then you can take furniture, fixtures. So I divide the entire land and building into these 5 parts. The value of land is 10 lakhs. Roof is 2 lakhs. Lift is 3 lakhs. 1,50,000. 1,50,000. This is what? Cost. Let's have a look at the useful life. The useful life of land is of course infinite. I hope you remember that land is a non-depreciable asset. Roof is 10 years. Lift is 10 years. Furniture is 5 years. Fixtures is 2 years. Now you will calculate depreciation. So depreciation over here will be nil. Roof cut depreciation will be 20,000 divided by 10. You get 2,000. Over here you have 30,000, 30,000 and 75,000. So now what's your total value? Total depreciation will be 15 lakh 50,000. Sorry, 1,55,000. Your total depreciation will be 1,55,000. This approach is known as the component approach because you're breaking down the entire property, plant and equipment into various components, and then you are providing depreciation based on every component. That is why this method is also known as the component approach. Right? Quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this? This is a very important and new concept that you have. So everyone quickly on the chat box, are you clear with this? Quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this? Are you all clear with this? Okay, if you are clear with this, let's go to the next question, practice question. Before that, I think I had one doubt which I have missed. Okay, so I have one doubt which says, will it not become a very tedious job? No, it will not become a tedious job because the one who is manufacturing will give you the breakup component wise. All you have to do is divide it with the useful life. So the manufacturer will give you the component wise breakup and will also give you the cost as well as the useful life. So Ishita, it will not become a tedious job, right? I hope, Ishita, that solves your doubt. Okay, let's go to this practice question. It says calculate depreciation from the following. So you have components such as land, roof, lift, fixtures, and building. You have their useful life and you have their cost. What you have to do is calculate depreciation. Okay, let's do that. Put your first statement. As per accounting standard 10, property, plant, and equipment. Calculation of depreciation. You have components, useful life, cost, depreciation. Prepare a systematic format. Prepare a systematic format. And let's see what is given in the question. So what are the components given in the question? You have land, roof, lift, fixtures, and building. Your useful life will be infinite, 25 years, 20 years, 10 years, and 50 years. And the cost is 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 5 lakhs, and 30 lakhs. Fine, all you have to do is calculate depreciation. Tell me, everyone on the chat box, what will be the depreciation for land? No depreciation, so nil. What about roof? What about roof? You get 40,000? Okay, what about lift? What about lift? How much depreciation will you calculate on lift? 25,000? Okay, great. What about fixtures? What about building? 60,000. Okay. Tell me, what's your total depreciation? Total depreciation will be 1,75,000. You have total depreciation 1,75,000. Take this down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Copy this down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Once you're done, please put done on the chat box. Please put done on the chat box once you're done so that we can proceed. Okay, I hope you all are done with this question. Let's go ahead then. Change in useful life or salvage value? So any change in useful life or salvage value, quickly on the chat box. Is that accounting estimate or accounting policy? Change in useful life and change in salvage value. Is that change in accounting estimate or accounting policy? Okay, everyone agrees change in accounting estimate. Accounting estimate, of course, it is a change in accounting estimate. These are changes in accounting estimates, and the impact of its depreciation should be given prospectively. I hope you remember any change in accounting estimate is affected prospectively. Okay, come to the next one. Change from cost model to revaluation model. So earlier we were following the cost model. Now we want to follow the revaluation model. If an item is subsequently revalued while earlier cost model was used, property, plant and equipment should be depreciated using the balance depreciable amount less its salvage value on the remaining useful life. So you will always take the balance depreciable amount, deduct the salvage value and divide it by the remaining useful life. So you will take the balance depreciable amount, because now you are moving towards the revaluation model. On the other hand, if you are following the revaluation model and now you want to go to the cost model, so balance in revaluation reserve shall be adjusted against the carrying amount of that asset. Now this is a very interesting part. Let's take one example, then we'll understand this. Say for example, if your revalued amount is 90. Say for example, your revalued amount of the asset is 90. Revaluation is 20. Can you tell me what will be the value of the asset before revaluation? अगर asset की value 90 है, revaluation 20 है, तो revaluation से पहले asset का value कितना होगा? Okay, everyone agrees 70. So you will have the value of 70. Why? Because in revaluation you increase the value of the asset. We increased by 20 and it became 90. So before revaluation, the value was how much? 70. Okay, abhi aage dhyan dena. See what they've given. Balance in revaluation reserves shall be adjusted against the carrying amount of the asset. Now you understand why will we adjust against the carrying amount of the asset? Because when you revalue, you add to the value of the asset. Now when revaluation is not required, you are shifting towards the cost model. The revaluation reserve will be adjusted against the balance of the asset. Right, look at the next one. Your carrying amount is 90, your revaluation surplus is 20. Since we are shifting to the cost model, revaluation reserve is no longer required. That is exactly that we discussed. क्योंकि अब cost model पे जा रहे हैं, revaluation की हमको जरूरत ही नहीं है. क्योंकि हमें revaluation की जरूरत ही नहीं है, we will take off revaluation reserve to the value of the asset. Hence, the value of the asset will be reduced to 70 rupees. That is exactly that you counted. The value will now come down to 70 rupees. Okay. Next point, very important, ध्यान देना. Carrying amount should not reduce below the residual value. Very important, underline this. Carrying amount should not reduce below the residual value. आपका जो residual value है, उससे कम carrying amount नहीं जाना चाहिए. Carrying amount उतना equal रहना चाहिए या उससे ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. Let's take that with the help of an example. So your carrying amount is how much? 20. So I'm writing over here. Carrying amount is 20. Carrying amount is 20. Revaluation surplus. Revaluation surplus is 30 and residual value is 5. Residual value is 5. Okay, tell me how much revaluation surplus maximum we can adjust. Your carrying amount cannot go below residual value. What's your carrying amount in the question? 20. What's your residual amount in the question? 5. मैक्स सबसे ज्यादा कितना एडजस्टमेंट हम कर सकते हैं? 15 का 15 maximum. So 15 maximum I will adjust because 20 minus 5 comes to 15. Okay, so how much will I adjust from the revaluation surplus? 15. 15 is what I'll adjust. Will I still have balance in the revaluation surplus? Yes or no? If yes, how much? Will I still have balance in the revaluation surplus? Yes. Balance in revaluation surplus will be how much? 15. So I will still have balance in the revaluation surplus of rupees 15. Now this balance, tell me on the chat box, please think and tell me yes or no. Do you need revaluation surplus now? After you decide to shift to the cost model, do you actually need revaluation surplus? Yes or no? You do not need it. So tell me, whenever you have balance in the revaluation surplus, but the reason does not exist, where will this revaluation surplus balance be transferred? It will go to, of course, it will go to the general reserve account. So this 15 will be closed and transferred to the general reserve account. Right, see what they have given. Carrying amount is 90, revaluation surplus is 20. Since we are shifting to the cost model, revaluation reserve is no longer required. Hence, the value of the asset will be 70 rupees. That is 90 minus 20. Carrying amount should not reduce below the residual value. Therefore, carrying amount is 20. Revaluation surplus is 30. Residual value is 5. Carrying amount is 5. So 20 minus 15. Balance in the revaluation surplus of 15 will be transferred to the general reserve account. So this we will close and transfer to the general reserve account. Right? I hope you all are clear with this. Okay. Now you have one last point that is left, which is change in depreciation method, cessation of depreciation, and scope of AS-10. These 3 points are still left in this accounting standard. And of course, this is a new accounting standard, so I would like to discuss the entire institute study material with you. So what I suggest is, let us do this question right now. November 17 exam question, let's solve it. Tomorrow also you have my lecture. Tomorrow I will begin the lecture by explaining to you these 3 concepts. Once we are done with these 3 concepts, we will go to the institute study material and have a quick review of whatever questions they have asked, and we'll quickly cover those questions. And then I think we are done with entire accounting standard 10. So today, I guess I only have 10 to 15 minutes. So let us not begin a new concept. These concepts need a lot of explanation. So let me take that tomorrow. Let us, as of now, solve this practice question. This is a November 17 exam question. So let's solve this. Let's prepare our format properly. You have practice question, November 17 exam question. You have to calculate the cost of PPE. Okay, let me solve this question. I'll give you sufficient time to copy. First is estimate the cost of the plant is 31,25,000. So I begin with that. Cost of the plant 31,25,000. This is note 1. 31,25,000. Estimated dismantling cost, this will also be added. Estimated dismantling cost, 2,50,000. You have opening loss before commencement of production. Everyone on the chat box, is opening loss directly attributable to purchase of PPE? Any loss that happened to you before you begin commercial production, is that really attributable? Of course not. Not attributable at all. So you have opening loss before commercial production. How much will it be? It will be nil. We will explain that at working note 2. Then you have initial delivery and handling cost, that of course will be added. So 1,85,000. Initial delivery and handling cost, 1,85,000. Cost of site preparation, that is site restoration cost, cost of site preparation, 4,50,000. And finally, consultant's advice for acquiring the plant, is how much? 6,50,000. You get 46,60,000. 46,60,000. Let's put our notes. Cost of plant, estimated dismantling cost, initial delivery and handling cost, site preparation cost, and consultants advice will form part of cost of PP, will form part of cost of property, plant and equipment. Will form part of cost of property, plant and equipment. Note 2, opening loss before commercial production is not an attributable expense and hence will not be included in calculating the cost of PPE. Right. Quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you all clear with everything we did? Are you all clear with everything that we did today? Quickly on the chat box. Each one of you. Akshay, Aman, Anjali, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhairya, Digesh, Harshit, Het, Ishika, Ishita, Kajal, Khushi, Manav, Mukaddisha, Nidhi, Nikita, Pavan, Pushti, Raj, Rizwan, Rohan, Samira, Samita, Shifa, Shreya, Simran, Om, Spruha, Shrushti, Tulsi, and Yash. Are you all absolutely clear with whatever we did? Okay, I have one doubt which says what is opening loss before commencing commercial production. So you have something known as before the company is incorporated, there are some expenses that you do or there are some transactions that you do. If you have any loss doing those transactions, then that is known as the opening loss before commercial production begins. So before you commence your operations, if you do any transaction and if you incur a loss, that is known as opening loss. Right? I hope Raj that is clear to you. Okay. I think this much is sufficient for today. What I will do is I will put this solution on your official WhatsApp group. You take it down from there. In fact, whatever questions we have solved, everything I will put it over there. Do completely revise whatever we have done today. If you have any doubts, please come back to me. I will solve it. Tomorrow we will look at the institute study material also. So please keep that institute study material ready with you. We will also finish a small theory part tomorrow. So tomorrow we should be in a position to finish off AS-10. And then we will be left with only one accounting standard, that is AS-22. For the students who joined in late, for them AS-9 will be left. That I will do at the end after we finish off AS-22. Right? Thank you so much for attending. And Rizwan, the PDF notes is on your official WhatsApp group. If you search over there, you will find it. Right, thank you so much for attending. I will now see you tomorrow. Please revise whatever we have done. If you have any doubts, please get back to me. Thank you.